Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Well, this week is a bit of a different one. So I think I might have gotten COVID. So yeah, I just wanted to put up a little video here just because there's a couple of nice things that we can take a look at, but this won't be a long one. Don't worry, I'm okay. It's not like the worst version of it, so everything's all right. But I just wanted to put this out just to let people know if anyone's interested. If they've been watching the channel for over the past year, they might be interested to hear this. So yeah, I'm okay. Everything's all right. But it looks like I might be locked in for a couple of weeks. However, I did manage to, in foresight, because I knew this might happen, I've front-loaded a bunch of content on the channel. So there's actually a bunch of really nice stuff coming out. Next week especially is pretty cool. I talk about Nurgle, and I paint up one of the Maggot Lords. The Blight Lord, or the one with the shield, anyway, the one on foot. So that's a really cool video, so you'll get that next week. But yeah, everything's okay. I'm feeling okay today, just really lousy, but you know, that's to be expected. I'm not totally sure. The final test doesn't come back for a few days, so I may not have it, but regardless, I'm pretty sick. So anyway, that's just a little bit of shop talk for you there for anyone that's interested. But let's just take a little bit of a look here, because there's a couple of things that are quite nice. One in particular that I'd like to have a look at. So yeah, we'll get into it. But you've probably already seen most of this. Yeah, but anyway. So this Gravis armored captain is ready to fight his way through the Christmas shopping queues. Yeah. So we've got a new Space Marine model, which is fine. You know, it's cool. I like this. I like that it's a bit more dynamic. So I think the main thing with this one, because it's like a riff on, as they talk about, a riff on the previous like Gravis captain, and yeah, I like this a lot more because they're pushing a bit more of the action in the pose. You know, he's actually striding a little bit. They're trying to get, it's very hard to get this type of design to look like it's moving. It's such a bulky sort of design. So it's nice that they've attempted to get a bit of action in it. So from that point of view, it's great, you know, and I can see some good conversions here. Again, having these arms separate and so on is great for those types of things. And I like a lot of these little details. You could easily do a bunch of little bits and pieces here to create your own captain, you know. I'm sure a lot of Imperial Fist players and other sort of more defensive orientated, I guess, Space Marine chapters might like a big bulky captain like this to convert and make your own. So that's nice, you know, it's cool, and I'm glad that they're bringing it out. And you know, a lot of what they've been doing lately has been kind of positive, and I'm you know, that's great, right? We're going to see that in a second. So they've begun these sort of 3 monthly updates and so on for Age of Sigmar anyway, and obviously 40k is getting it too, which I think is a really great thing ultimately for the hobby, to have a bit more of a dialogue between what we're experiencing as hobbyists and the company that produces it. I think that's always a good thing, and it's nice to see that that's happening. And also a nice little cherry on top, which we'll see in a second, that they've managed to bring back Curse City, which is, I think, you know, a very good thing. And from the tone of the article, it doesn't look like they're laying on the FOMO as heavily this time around, which is much nicer. I haven't had a chance to take a really good long read of it. As I said, I'm feeling very sick at the moment, but from the overall, it does look like they're being a bit more, you know, gracious about the fact that, you know, they sort of did a bit of radio silence on what happened to Curse City, and it's nice that they're bringing it back. It made sense to me. I knew there must be just some kind of legal thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that kit looks different or has some different print inside of it, or something is different about it, either legally or whatever in the fine print, but something is going to be different because they obviously had issues with it, and it's great that they've managed to figure out a way to put it back in their cycle. As we all know, or if you don't, Games Workshop's still going through a fair amount of logistical issues, as you can see by the delayed releases of a lot of products. But the fact that they're going to put that into the line and get that produced is nice. And I think that that's cool for people that like, you know, the more one-off games and the board games and that sort of thing from Games Workshop. I think that's great that it's being released. You know, for whatever negatives that may have occurred over that time, it's good that they're rectifying it. That's the important thing. You know, and I really believe that like Games Workshop make great sub games, like more than their main games. Main games are great and we all love it, but it's always rife with issues. Hopefully with these new 3 monthly cycles, it will fix a lot of that. But the one thing that they do better at is these one-off games and these smaller game systems. They seem to be able to balance them a lot better and make them more fun. They're always very interesting and great. And so, you know, any of those that they're going to bring out is good, because you can see it in the sculpting, the fun that the sculptors are having with those models, and just the level, the quality of them is generally quite high, and that's really great, so I'm glad that they're getting to do that. I'm sure the designers and people that were on that project are happy that it's coming back onto the market. So for all those reasons, I think that that's nice, because you have to remember that, this isn't a faceless company. This is a company made up of individuals, and almost all of them are hobbyists. There are some in the very top regions that are not, and obviously are what you would call money men or whatever. But on the whole, majority of them are hobbyists, and they care about this thing just like we do. I know that because I worked for them for a long time back in the day. So, I know from first-hand experience that this is the case, that they are all just hobbyists like you and me. And so that's the thing to remember there, I guess. But anyway, let's not go on about that, because I might pass out if I continue to talk. So we'll get on to this battle scroll. So yeah, the battle scroll here, this is great. So this is what they're calling their updates for Age of Sigmar. So they've got a download here that you can go. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I had a brief read over this. But essentially, you're going to get these kinds of updates. And what they're focusing on for the first one is the big guys. So Kragnos, Nagash, Archaon. So we know that old Kragnos here is getting a bit of a buff. Yeah, I think he has a ward save now, and a few different things. So they're tweaking a lot of the way these big monsters interact. Some subtle nerfs and some buffs in hand, but to, I guess, try to balance them out a bit more. Haven't had a chance to really go through the details of this, but from the outside it looks positive, and we'll see how it plays out. But they do need some attention. These large models do have a bit of an issue, overall, not just in competitive play, but generally. They're a bit dominating, and I love them. Like, don't get me wrong. You'll be seeing, eventually, a painting video from me that paints Nagash. I've got him, he's prepared. He's going to be a while now before I get that video done. But, I really love Death, and I love that he's on the table. But yeah, balancing those rules and getting them playable so that they're not that dominating is really tough. So I'm glad that they're attempting it, and I'm glad that they're trying to do it. So, we've also got Ariel here, so she's obviously been plagued by rules that don't really line up to her stature in the lore and so on. So we're getting to see maybe some better results for her as well. Obviously, Sylvaneth need a lot more than just that, but it's a good start, right? And then we've also got we've even got some Maggotkin stuff here as well. Hang on. No, that's just them doing the sales pitch. Okay, so yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot to go through, and I'm sure that it's got a ton of stuff in there, but it's mostly for big characters, I think, for the first one, and that's fine. I think one of the I guess the fears that people had about 3 monthly cycles was that they were going to change everything all the time, and it'd be hard to keep up. You wouldn't be able to know what's what. But it's quite clear that not every faction is going to get an FAQ every 3 months. You're probably only going to get 1 or 2 in a year, or only for specific units here and there. It's not going to be like full revamping every time they do it. They just don't have a team big enough to do that. We all know that their team is small. They don't have a large team that's doing this. It's only a few guys, or maybe girls, but I'm pretty sure it's just guys, only a couple. So the fact that they're even going to keep up with this is pretty amazing. So I don't think you have anything to worry about in terms of having to constantly change your lists all the time. I don't think that's going to happen. If nothing else, they're just, from the looks of it, they're just trying to balance out what's already there and give it a bit better, internal balance between those books. Hopefully, that's what we're hoping for, right? So yeah, really cool. So then let's take one last little look at another nice development, which is that Curse City is returning, which is great. I did read through a bit of this, and as I said, from the tone, it doesn't seem quite as on the nose as you might maybe expect or whatever. It does seem okay overall. But I'm just happy that this is being re-released, right? I think that that's great. I'm a sculptor. I feel for, it's a different thing when you're on that side of the equation, when you do this kind of development. To see your product taken off or never seen the light of day or only briefly is really sad. I've worked in movies as well, and when you get a project that doesn't go through or something that doesn't end up being something that people can enjoy, it's a sad time, and a lot of artists have to go through that in entertainment industries and so on. A lot of the projects you do never see light of day, and it's a struggle, because as an artist, that's the whole point of making art. I mean, it's a cycle, right? You produce a creative work and you put it out there in the world, and other people get to consume that and enjoy it, and then there's a reciprocation there, either with money, or good feelings towards that, or whatever, comments, etc. Some kind of reciprocity is going on in that cycle where you're it's being received, and then there is a response, and then back again to that cycle again, and then the artist does it again, and you continue to work in a kind of conversation with your audience, and that's really what it's about. And when that artwork doesn't get to be seen or doesn't get to be put out there, that's always sad, right? So I'm glad that it's coming, and that people will get to enjoy it, because that will make those sculptors and the designers that did it happy, and I think that's like really cool. So from that point of view, I think that this is all very positive. So yeah, just some thoughts from an old sculptor that has been on that side of the equation before, and yeah, just some things that maybe people don't really think about generally to do with these types of products and that sort of thing, and the labor that goes into them. You know, we know just from looking at these models, like, how much effort went into sculpting these. They're some of the most beautiful AOS figures that they've made recently, right? They're really great. Like, there's so much character in them. Whether you like the figure or not, just the whole idea of them and the concepts that are behind them are very sort of stepping in a new direction for GW generally. And again, that's what I find from a lot of the sub games. They tend to play around with a lot more ideas and try to get them out there, which is excellent. I think that's a really great thing. So anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about for today. That's all I think do. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And don't worry, there'll be more videos coming. I did front load a bunch, so it's all good. All right, I hope you guys have a great Christmas and a good New Year, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, catch you later.